So this is a video to answer Valeria's question. If we have an active and passive in a statement, whether it's a core statement or a statement in general, what do we work on first? So I'm going to open my whiteboard for a second. New whiteboard. And over here, I'm going to have a statement, which is the one we use in all trainings to explain identity stuff. I hate myself. Okay. Now, we have here two different elements. We have the first element, which is, I'm going to change this color to red. We have the I over here, which is the active element. Okay. And we have the myself over here, which is basically self, which is the passive. Okay. Now, we have the hate. This is the active feeling. We have the hated, which is also the passive feeling. Okay, so once we're working on this, we start with the hate as the active feeling. How strong is this feeling? How familiar? When's the first time you can remember feeling this feeling? We work on this. And then we explore the I. And we check if the I is a problematic identity element. Okay, now when you say when the problem is resolved completely, what does it mean? Okay, so is it gonna change drastically during the session? Yes, for some people, yes, for some people, no. But the idea is when this is low to a point which is comfortable for the client, which could be it starts with a 9, goes down to a 4, for example, and it's manageable for them, you move to the identity element that's related to the I. And then it's worth exploring the hated feeling and get it down to a manageable place. Because we're not working on getting people to feel nothing. We're working on getting people to reduce the negative emotions or the imprints from the triggers that they have to a certain point that's more manageable. Once we reduce the hated to a certain point that is manageable, like 4, etc., we work on the self, which is the passive identity element. And definitely if the self is something that the person wants to change, whether the age is not valid for the specific context that they're in, or whether there's a distance between this I and this self that needs to be changed, etc. So you work on that. Now, would you know during the session that this is something that changed? Not always. Sometimes it changes after the session, after a while from the end of the session, like after a week, after 10 days, after a while from working together. So once we do the movements and then we check, okay, so what do you know about self? If the self now is in a better position, that's something useful. Now, for those people who know stuff other than IEMT, it is useful to add positive stuff after removing the negative stuff, so which could be some stuff related to training, NLP submodality work, and making things closer and more vivid that are positive and motivating for people. Yes, if that's useful in that context. Okay, but the idea is are we just doing change, or are we also doing training or support? Okay. But if you are thinking during the session that you want to remove the emotions completely and it's no longer a problem, I don't think that's going to be easy to happen in or during the session. They might feed back that to you in a week or two, but during the session, this is something that might or might not be something that they might mention during the session. Okay, so I hope this helps, and this is all I have to say about this question. If anybody else has any other questions, please feel free to drop them in the WhatsApp or in the comments box below, so I can share my thoughts on it. Ciao.